Hey Artlings, it's D here and welcome back to my channel. So as you saw from the title of this video, obviously this will be another Monster High Ghoul Friends Universe line. Cause I've been missing the ghouls. I've been missing designing for the ghouls. So I am back. But before we get started, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Yes, I've been absent for months, but that's because I've been preparing myself to... Yes, I'm finally graduating! So, for those of you who are still here, who waited for me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But now, I believe with the time that I have in my hands, we'll be spending a lot of time more than ever. So yeah, I hope that you will continue to support me, share this video with your friends so that they could also be a part of the DD Arts family or the Artlings. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this video. So this line is going to be called Monster High Mystery Mayhem. If you haven't guessed, this specific line is very inspired by movies such as Clue, Knives Out, The Glass Onion. It's very reminiscent of those kinds of film. That's basically my inspiration, and of course it is heavily, and I am emphasizing heavily, it is heavily inspired by the iconic, and should I say infamous, YouTube series Escape the Night.
Is this supposed to be my mother?
Like, hello? I don't know if you grew up on it, but me and my friends, including my siblings, we grew up watching that show and we were living like, hello? Mystery, Monster High, like, it's a perfect combination. Like, I mean, come on. You have to admit it. I ate with it. So, yeah. So, let's talk about the logo. So, in my head, Monster High monsters don't have, necessarily, they don't have blood. But, instead of blood, they do have ooze. So, that's basically what I'm insinuating with the logo, with the drippage, the color palette. It's very Monster High. It just makes sense. I'm running out of words. Now, it's been a while since I've made these types of videos, so yeah. So another thing, I wanted to include this, magnifying glass for the logo since it just makes sense. And with the glass part having a spider web design, it just ties up the whole Monster High Mystery Mayhem theme like a pretty bow. So yeah, that's basically what I did for this specific logo. Now let's talk about this specific line and what it does for the Ghoul Friends universe. So the main storyline is that Frankie is hosting a dinner party for their friends. And somehow, lightning flashes, the lights went out, and when it came back, there Frankie was, lying on the floor, lifeless. And like Monster High hasn't shied away with Frankie, dying. Like, Frankie died in Freaky Fusion, so
We'll save Frankie.
that's what I'm basically saying. So it's not far to, it's not very imaginative of me for Frankie to die in this one. It just makes sense that Frankie dies. And, she comes back to life anyway, so spoiler alert. So yeah, there's a lot of cars outside and I keep on pausing this video, so sorry for the audio cuts. So yeah, basically Frankie dies, and then here comes the main character, Ghoulia. Yes, Ghoulia is back after 2 years. I haven't drawn Ghoulia since 2024, and now she's finally back. She's the main character, of course. Who else would be the detective for this kind of line? Hello, the smartest ghoul in school, Ghoulia, duh. It just makes sense, to have them both for this line as this big ticket line that I have for 2026. Yes, it's funny to think that I have a big ticket line, but that's basically the idea for my ghoul friends, is that this is a specific universe for Monster High designs that I have, Monster High ideas that I have, and what I would have done if I rebooted the Monster High line. So yeah, that's basically the story. And of course, Ghoulia is trying to solve who among the guests. Yes, you heard that right. There will be multiple characters for this line, and hopefully I'll be able to produce it in a short amount of time for you guys to consume the content, and for me, of course, to share what I've designed. I'm not going to spoil who's going to be in it. I'm just gonna say that there are multiple ghouls in this line. Past ghouls, new ghouls, who knows? I'm not gonna spoil it. And my idea... And of course, it's a mystery line, so my idea for this video is that I'm not going to reveal on the thumbnail which ghoul you're getting, so it just adds to the funness of the mystery aspect of this line that I came up with. So, and I just want to say before we go on to the drawings that please, 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 Monster High make this line come true. Like, it just makes sense. Like, Monster High is a line that is paying homage to horror, to thriller, and like, hello, mystery is up their alley, so I hope they do this in the future, and I wouldn't be mad if, Mattel could reach out and make me in charge for this line, I'm just putting that out there. I'm very open to the idea, so yeah, let's go on to the ghouls. Okay, first and foremost, the hostess, yes, Frankie Stein. Just a freshener in this specific Ghoul Friends universe. Frankie is going by they, them, or she, her, depending on the context. If you notice that I'm switching up between they, them, and she, her, it's just that's my canon for her. So yeah, let's start with Frankie. So of course, I kept the two-toned color scheme for Frankie's body, of course. And obviously the peg leg has to stay. It's an homage both to their G1 and G3 counterparts. So yeah. So the main inspiration for Frankie's look is definitely the Bride of Frankenstein meets Mugler. So yeah. Let's start at the top. So as for their hair, it's very inspired by their mother, the Bride of Frankenstein. As you can see, it is a little bit curly. It has the lightning bolt side streak. And the only thing that I've changed is that it is a half up, half down. So the down part is the straight part, and the updo part is the curly part. And of course, I've added a tinsel-like design, or a design that is made to mimic a tinsel when it is produced as a doll. So yeah, and to shake things up, I made Frankie's hair predominantly black this time, with the lightning streaks being the only white part. So yeah, now let's move on to their makeup. So as for their makeup, I didn't really have a direct reference or a direct inspiration. It's just a bunch of things that I wanted to portray for Frankie for this line, and it just made sense. Kinda like those things, So as for their eyebrows, it is very thin, very different from their previous looks. It's very 1920s, very drag, I would say. And of course, their eyeshadow has the staple design. I just think it would elevate the look. And of course, the eyeshadow color that I chose is black, gray, and of course, silver to make her shine. And of course, the signature red lip. Red lip Frankie dolls are just my favorite. So if you are tired of seeing Frankie designed with a red lip, please don't be. It's just a preference of mine. So yeah. As for their earrings, I went with a dangling earrings with the earring top part being bolts and the dangling part being two lightning bolts intertwining to keep it simple yet cohesive with the whole look that I'm going for. So now let's move on to their bodysuit. As you can see, this is where the Mugler part enters. It is very reminiscent and very derivative of this specific bodysuit by Mugler. I just added the cage part for the skirt with chain-like designs. And you know, they're also wearing a glove with a nail extension because I just think it's fierce as fuck. And of course, the glove also has this tassels, both fabric and chains, and it goes down to this very majestic train like design that is made to mimic latex. So yeah, that's basically Frankie's look. And of course, I went with black this time since I've been putting Frankie in a lot of colors for the past 2 years, and I just think black looks very sleek and it's very reminiscent of a tuxedo, and it's very fitting since Frankie is the hostess for this party, if you will. So yeah, and of course the prop in their hand is a glass with not a alcohol beverage but blood. Yes, we like to get gory with this universe just a little bit, you know, just sometimes just dab some gore, you know, because it is a fan art universe. So yeah, I just want to dabble with the goth part, the gory part of horror when it comes to my Monster High designs. And of course, as for her shoes, I just went with a simple black pump with the heels being derivative of her Haute Couture doll, with it being the lever that is used to make the monster alive. Kind of like pull the lever, then just lightning just crashes into from the ceiling to the body. So yeah, I'm running out of words. So yeah, that's basically Frankie. Up next is of course everybody's favorite, Miss Ghoulia Yelps. Yes, as I've said earlier, I haven't drawn Ghoulia since 2024, and finally she's back, and she is the main character. You know, it just makes sense. Ghoulia is the smartest character in Monster High, the smartest ghoul in school, as you may. It just makes sense that she is the detective. And of course, so let's talk about the design inspiration for this outfit. It is, yes, it's very obvious, Nini Coco's brain look from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. Yes, I just changed the design a little bit and the colors, but it's basically very reminiscent of that specific look. So yeah, let's start at the top. So she's wearing a hat that has a brain on it since it is an homage to her monster type. And of course, it is also part of Nini Coco's look. As for her face, I kept the sad blue eyebrow that Ghoulia is known for, and of course she has the green eyeshadow to tie in with the logo, and of course signifying that she is the main character of this specific line. And also I kept the red lip. Yes, she had a red lip for her core doll, but I don't care. Red just looks good and it just makes sense for this look, you know. And you know, Ghoulia is known for her glasses, but instead of a glasses, I went with, yes, a monocle. Like, no one has designed Ghoulia with a monocle, and I'm begging Mattel to do it because it just looks good. And of course, I went with this green color to tie in with the logo. And for her earrings, I went with an eardrop earring with the dangling part being reminiscent of the ooze that is dripping. So yeah, as for her necklace, she has this semi-choker with a bone-like design with the dripping green at the end. So as for her dress, I went with this semi-full length, I don't know what the term is, I forgot, but this mermaid like design with the top part being sharp edges because everything is very rounded with Ghoulia, and I just wanted to mimic the bones that is present in her design and make the cutout of the neck part or the chest area sharp. And of course, she has this semi-corset bone design since bones are very prominent in Ghoulia's design. And you know, being the detective that she is holding the magnifying glass. Duh, it just makes sense, you know? And she also has the gloves since this is a crime scene and you don't want to get your fingerprints all over the evidence. So it's just very demure, very mindful of Ghoulia. So yeah. And now down to the bottom part, she's wearing this green shoes to tie in the green in her outfit. And of course, the design is very derivative of Draculaura's Sweet Screams shoes. Instead of the gum part being the main inspiration for Draculaura's design, I went with the green to mimic or to signify that she is stepping on ooze. And you know, the straps being the drippy design, it just makes sense and it ties the whole thing together, especially with the logo, and it signifies that Ghoulia is the main ghoul for this line. So yeah, that's Ghoulia. So if you have reached this point, I just wanted to encourage you to leave a comment, a thunderbolt if you love Frankie's design, and a brain if you prefer Ghoulia's haute couture detective look. So yeah, that's basically it. And I just wanted to thank you guys for staying with me. Please continue to support me. I promise I am going to make more videos like this. And of course, if you ask me who's my favorite, I can't pick which one, since as I've said, I really miss designing the ghouls, and it's been so long that I've really matured as a designer and my references are more sharp and more intentional. I would say turned these looks up. Like, I can't pick a favorite. Like, look at Frankie. They're basically inspired by Mugler. Look at Ghoulia. She's basically wearing a braid. It just makes sense for Monster High, you know. So yeah. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a comment and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. And please give this video a like. It helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!